Hi everybody, you're out here today with John, Cole, and Will with Everything Tennis. Today we'd like to show you 12 tactical tips that we feel will make you instantly a better match tennis player.
I think that one was better.
On defense, always hit the ball cross court. One of the major mistakes people make playing tennis is they go for shots that aren't there by trying to hit winners down the line when they can extend the rally by keeping the ball in play, by sending the ball back cross court when they're on defense. This will extend many rallies and is sure to win you far more points during the match. What we're going to do is set up a quick drill here with Will on this side. I'm going to hit a couple balls down the middle, and then I'm going to swing him out to his backhand just slightly. And then I'm going to make him run all the way across for his forehand. And you're going to see Will smartly send the ball back cross court and extend the rally instead of trying to do something too big. I'm going to hit a couple of balls down the middle with Will. Okay, do one more. I'm going to push him a little bit to his backhand. And then I'll get him running across to his forehand. And he's going to send a ball back cross court. And he's right back in the rally. It's him sending the ball back cross court. His recovery is only a couple of steps over, and he's got the court covered. Please make your opponent hit a volley when they are attacking you at the net. Don't waste any more points trying to hit a screaming winner that is just not there. Instead, make your opponent hit a highly skilled volley to at least make them win the point. This will often give you free points because a volley is a very skilled shot that is very easy to miss. So please make them hit that volley. If you make them hit that first volley, sometimes it'll open up to something called a two-shot pass, where your second ball after their volley will be a much easier ball for you to pass on. So if you watch Will, instead of taking a crazy shot, he's just going to make me hit a volley, and then he's going to have another chance to run in and pass me. So by just making me hit that first volley, it allows him to have another play on the ball. Remember, in big moments in matches or big points, to always swing aggressively to big targets. Too often players shorten their swing and try and guide a ball to small targets when they can have a lot more confidence swinging away and hitting to big targets on the court. When you're facing a big server, one of the keys for returning is to just have a big target right down the middle and take away the alleyways completely. This will enable you to get more balls back in play and also allow you to focus on the technique of the return, which is just a short backswing and a nice long follow through. Imagine some big targets on the baseline that completely take away the sides of the court so that you're just aiming deep down the middle. Now, in order to set this one up, I don't have a big serve for Will's level. So what I'm gonna do is just stand up really close on the service line and just show you how Will is gonna be able to focus on his return, just deep down the middle, nice short compact backswing and a long follow through. When you're attacking the net in tennis, one of the major things you want to focus on is always hitting your first volley cross court. This will enable you to always hit to the bigger target on the court, and the net is also much smaller in the middle. When you're attacking the net, that 99 to 100% of the time, your first volley should always go cross court. Okay, and there's many reasons for that. One of the major reasons, though, is that that's always the bigger target. Okay, I'm going to set up a little drill with Will where I'm going to have him hit one ground stroke, and then he's going to charge the net, and I'm going to float a ball back, and he's going to hit a volley, and you're going to see whatever side he's on, he's always going to go to the bigger target, even if he's tempted to go for an obvious winner down the line. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to feed a ball. He's going to hit a ground stroke. He's going to come in, and always hitting that ball across the court. Will a bit of a shorter ground stroke, the ball he can attack on. He's going to come in, and hitting that volley cross court. It's going to make his first volley so much more high percentage and allow him to look for the next ball and also cover the net much better than if he went down the line. When returning second serves, avoid being too complacent and too far back in the court. It's always a good idea sometimes to step in, have a closer return position to the baseline, and aggressively return that second serve. This will put tons of pressure on your opponent. When serving, always remember that you're not serving to serve aces. You're serving to set up your second shot, which in tennis we call the +1. So relax, serve to your spots, and wait for the next ball. Instead of going for that ace and aiming for that dime target on the court, you can actually use your serve to set up the next shot, which is called our +1. And that'll actually free your mind to hit some bigger serves. So your focus actually is on the next ball, not on your serve. So I've got a drill set up here with Will serving and Cole down on the other side returning. And Will's just going to focus on hitting a big serve, and then he's really going to channel his focus on the next shot in the rally. So let's have a look. When your opponent has an obvious weakness, make sure that you're not just going at that weakness over and over again, because that will just groove that weakness and actually make them better. What you need to do is open up the weakness by going to their strength and then going back to their weakness and making them hit that weakness a little bit more on the run. All right, our next example, guys, is when your opponent has an obvious weakness, or maybe not even an obvious weakness, but a weaker shot than the other shot. What I want you guys to do is not keep going at that weakness so much that you groove that stroke. Instead, use the other side of the court or the other stroke to open up that weakness and make them hit that weakness on the run. So you're going to see Will over on the other side. We're going to pretend that Will's weakness is his backhand. So I'm going to hit a couple of balls to his weakness, but then I'm also going to use the other side of the court to open it up and then go back to the weakness again. So it's going to look like this. I'm going to hit a couple of balls over to Will's backhand. He's going to hit it back. Now what I want to do is open the court up, because if you have a weakness, that weakness is even more apparent on the run. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're playing a match and in a rally is they pay too much attention to the tennis ball and not enough attention to their opponent. Please make sure you're watching your opponent's court position so that you can adjust yours and get into an aggressive stance when they're on a defensive stance. As much as we like to believe that every point in tennis is worth the same, they truly are not. So make sure when you're playing tennis that you play the score. If you're up 40 love and you're down 40 love, you may play the point slightly differently than if it's 30 all. Okay guys, our next example is a very tactical one. What you want to make sure you're doing when you play a match is not treat every point the same, because they're really not in tennis. You can play the score a little bit to take some pressure off or add some pressure onto your opponent. So what I'm saying with this is, say you're playing a game and you're up 40 love, okay? Maybe what you want to do up 40 love is do something that you don't normally do, like serve and volley, to change it up, to put some pressure on your opponent and try and finish that game quickly. So we'll just watch Will. Will's at 40 love right now. He doesn't usually do this, but he's decided at 40 love that he's going to serve and volley. So everybody have a look. I don't expect it. He comes in and he gets that easy ball to put away. Okay, that's one way. Or we can just, another example is, if Will's up love 40 and I'm serving and I've got a second serve, maybe his return stance is usually 10 feet behind the baseline. What he can do right before I serve is he could creep up all the way up inside the baseline, and he's got tons of pressure on my second serve. I might even miss it, but if not, he can just hammer away because he knows he's got a few more points after this to win the game. Always remember the geometry of the tennis court. The farther you are away from the net, obviously the higher you need to hit the ball with more spin. The closer you are, the more you can flatten the ball out. All right, our next example is going to show when you're in a live rally, what you guys want to do is pay attention again to the court position on the court and hit the right ball at the right spot in the court. So what I mean by that is, if Will gets a short ball, he has the ability to step in, flatten the ball out, hit the ball a little bit lower over the net. If he gets a ball that pushes him way back in the court, he's going to add a little bit of height and a little bit more spin to his shot just to stay in the rally. So we'll start a rally here, and I'll try and get both examples in this rally here. So Will's going to get normal neutral rally. All of a sudden he might get a short ball where he can step in, flatten it out, and then he might get a nice deep ball where he's got to hit a little bit more height and in the courts. When serving, make sure you walk that baseline. Instead of just standing in the same spot over and over again, you have all the way from the middle hash mark to the singles line to serve the ball. Make sure you walk the line and add some variety to your court position. All right, this example is just going to show Will hitting a bunch of serves and using the baseline as his stance to walk the line and change his position on the serve. So let's just see him hit a couple of serves. He might hit a big one from the middle here. Too often people stay in the same spot, but there's no reason why he can't just walk a little bit over and serve one out there. He can even go all the way out to the singles line in singles and hit a serve from way out there. This changes his perspective and also changes the look for their opponent every time he hits a ball. He can do the same thing on this side. He can hit a serve from the middle. Maybe that's working for a bit and he wants to stay there for 10 serves, but then he might miss a few and he might want to come way out wide and just give himself a different look so that he's not missing the same shot all the time if he starts missing. And he might go to the middle, he missed one there, so he can change it. And as he's changing, his opponent doesn't get the same look every time. All right, there you have it. Those are our 12 tips to becoming a better match player instantly. These are not our only tips, so please stay tuned for more in the future. Thank you very much from Everything Tennis.